In this video, we will discuss how to classify rational numbers into subsets including integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. Now, before we begin, let's review what a rational number is. A rational number is a fraction that can also be represented in decimal form as a repeating decimal, where you will see a bar above the numbers that repeat. The fraction can also be represented as a terminating decimal. Along with being fractions, repeating decimals, and terminating decimals, rational numbers also include natural numbers, integers, and whole numbers, as well as a combination of them, which we call mixed numbers. Before we begin, I would like to relate this back to a real-life example using football, where quarterbacks are a set, but are also a part of a football team's offense, making them a subset. The offense is considered a subset because they are part of the football team, and the football team is also a subset because they are part of the NFL. Another example would be using geography. Say, for example, if living in Houston. Your house is part of Houston. Houston is part of Texas. And Texas is part of the United States. You see how you have sets that are also subsets to a larger grouping. Let's go ahead and begin with natural numbers, which also can be called counting numbers because they start at 1 and continue on. They are one set or group that are also part of whole numbers. The only difference is that the whole numbers start at 0. Whole numbers are a group, but are also a subset of integers. Integers include natural numbers, whole numbers as well. The difference is that integers also contains negative whole numbers. One example I like to use to represent integers is a standard number line, where you see your negatives, 0, and positives. Integers are a subset of rational numbers. Notice how natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers, being their own sets, are still part of rational numbers, making them subsets. Rational numbers also contain fractions, repeating decimals, and terminating decimals. Now, let's go ahead and practice classifying rational numbers. Our first number is 3/4, which is a simple fraction and would only be rational. -12 is not natural nor a whole number because neither can be negative, but it is rational and also an integer. We do not use 0 when counting, therefore it is not a natural number, but 0 is a whole number, which also makes it an integer and rational. Notice how the bar above the 3 and 1.3 shows it's a repeating decimal, making it only rational. 1 is a number we start counting with, which classifies it as a natural number. 500 is also a number we use to count, which makes it a natural number as well. -20/4 is an improper fraction, but yet when you simplify it, it equals to -5, which not only classifies it as a rational number, but also an integer. 0.25 is a terminating decimal, which makes it only a rational number. To summarize how we can remember in what order to classify rational numbers, you can always think of a slogan, such as, "Never will I run," to help you remember the order before you start classifying.